This is the iPhone Air, a phone that doesn't make much sense practically, but is probably the most interesting phone that Apple's ever released in a few years. So, welcome to the first 4 hours with the iPhone Air. Let's unbox it. So holding the iPhone Air, it really does strike you how thin it really is. It's not hefty, it feels like glass and looks premium. The off-centered USB-C port is here, as well as the single camera. The camera bump does seamlessly mesh with the rest of the body of the phone, which is a really nice touch and, iconically, Apple. I got my Air in gold, and while it looks more like white than anything, the slightly accented rails give a nice shine. There's still a fingerprint magnet, which is annoying, but I've got to admit that glossy rails always look better. And in this case, it helps make the Air look thinner. The curved nature of the Air makes it feel comfortable to hold and feels more like a fashion statement or a prototype than a phone. Now I'm going to transfer over the data from my other iPhone and get this set up so we can start testing the Air out. Now welcome to hour 3, and after transferring all of the data and everything, we've lost quite a bit of power, and now our battery percentage is at 46%. And as you know, all iPhones do not come with a charger inside the box since 2020. This is where my friends at Torras come in, who have sent me out their Flexline charger, a super cool retractable charger, which is pretty awesome. So let's plug it in and see how much power we can get while I finish the segment. The Taurus Flexline is a really solid option for pretty much anyone who's looking for a new charger. It's got smart temperature control that helps protect your battery and keep your iPhone running strong for longer. It's also super compact, which is perfect for bringing it everywhere you go thanks to its GaN technology. With fast charging up to 67 watts, this can charge pretty much any device that you've got, like laptops and fast charging phones. And with a dual USB-C port, that allows you to be able to charge multiple devices at once, including 2 iPhones if you really wanted to. And it will also charge both iPhones fast. With a retractable design, it means you don't have to worry about tangled cables anymore. Simply just pull it back and it's all good to go, and you can get going with your life. Even the plug is foldable, which is even better for convenience. And if you don't want to shell out a heap of money for Apple's power bank, which is kind of weird since they introduced that just specifically for the Air, kind of say something about the battery life, Taurus has also come out with their version, the Minimag power bank, which is perfect for the iPhone Air. It has a 5000 mAh battery capacity, along with 18-watt fast charging and MagSafe, all at a cheaper price than Apple's own version. It's thin and light with graphite heat dissipation, so you don't have to worry about trying to bring along this heavy, hot battery pack wherever you go. And just like that, we've already gained 10% of battery power on the iPhone Air, and we only have 22 minutes before it reaches 80%, thanks to the fast charging on here. So, if you want to check out Taurus for yourself, make sure to check the link in my description. Thank you once again to Taurus for sponsoring this video. So now let's compare the iPhone Air to some of my other phones. We have here the iPhone 17 Pro, which I just made a video on before, so if you haven't seen that, make sure to watch that video too. And wow, you can tell the difference straight away. You can definitely see that the iPhone Air really is thin and makes the iPhone 17 Pro look pretty thick, which in reality, it really isn't. It's just a normal slab phone. The iPhone Air just looks insanely razor thin, almost like, you get it, Air. And of course, the design is quite different, with the iPhone 17 Pro going with this full unibody aluminium with a lot less glass. And if you look at the iPhone Air, well, it went completely the opposite direction with a titanium body and a full glass back. It is quite interesting to see how the Pro and the Air have really distinguished themselves in terms of the design. The iPhone Air is more of a statement piece. It has this glossy finish and glass feel that makes it feel a bit more premium than the iPhone 17 Pro in my opinion, simply due to the materials and the look that they've gone for. And as you know, with the Pro series, they had stainless steel, which was glossy for some time before they switched to matte titanium. But on the iPhone Air, even though it's titanium, it's a glossy titanium, which kind of shows you that they're trying to go for something quite different. Now, pulling out my Pixel 10 Pro, which is my daily phone, you can tell once again that the iPhone Air just makes the Pixel 10 Pro look thick by comparison. And with this glossy finish on the Pixel 10 Pro, the Pixel looks almost twice as thick as the iPhone Air. Something that I did notice is that the iPhone Air kind of looks like the Pixel 10 in a few different ways. I mean, the glossy body with the rounded curves, the glass back, and that camera bump, which strangely looks pretty similar to the Pixel line of phones. I'm going to leave that to you guys to speculate whether the iPhone Air is a slight copy of the Pixel. But anyway, now the next phone that I have to compare the iPhone Air to is the iPhone 6. The iPhone that held the record of being the thinnest iPhone ever made at about 6.9mm. It was notoriously known to be able to be bent. Well, in my opinion, the iPhone Air is like a spiritual successor to the iPhone 6. a phone that really just changed the whole design of the iPhones and really made Apple feel innovative at that time. And while of course the Air is thinner, it's actually kind of crazy to see how thin the iPhone 6 really was, and to be honest, it is actually still pretty thin compared to most modern phones today. Let's do a couple tests on the iPhone Air. Let's pull up Genshin Impact, test out the cameras, and get a bit of a feel for the performance on this phone and see how the heat management does. So starting off with some gaming with Genshin Impact, which is one of the most graphically intense games you can play on an iPhone. And we're going to play at high graphics with 120 FPS, cause why not? And starting off, well, there really isn't any lags or stutters. This is running the A19 Pro chip, so it's the same one found in the Pro series. But then, after a few minutes, I'll say about 5 minutes of gameplay, you can start to feel the iPhone Air start to heat up a bit. Now, it's not anything crazy, it's not boiling my hand, but it is pretty warm. Obviously, I'm gonna have to test this phone out more and to see how the actual heat conduction plays out as I use the phone daily, but that's gonna be saved for my data live test. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Now, switching to the cameras. Well, there's only one camera on the iPhone Air, and there's a single wide camera, same one used on the regular iPhone 17. And to be honest, I see this as a disadvantage. Honestly, for the price you're paying, getting one camera is pretty much a deal breaker for me in my opinion. Looking at the iPhone 16e, I thought that was a really bad deal already just for the lack of cameras. It's a decent camera. The iPhone 17 has a good camera. It takes good quality shots, and at a 2x crop, you're really not losing any details as well. But if you're looking for good cameras, then you're really just getting a pretty limited setup. So let's talk about my thoughts from an Android perspective. And first off the bat, the iPhone Air is simply not practical in my opinion. It has a really nice fancy design, but honestly, when it comes to value for money, well, I think you guys can agree with me, it sucks. And even compared to the S25 Edge, which, while technically 0.2mm thicker than the iPhone Air, actually still provides better value for a cheaper price than the iPhone Air, with a higher end main camera, the same one used on the S25 Ultra, an ultra-wide lens, along with a bigger battery, a vapor chamber to help cool the phone better, all with a cheaper price tag. But I can see why people will still go with the iPhone Air. First off, it's an Apple, but the design is where it really wins people over. The iPhone Air is more of a fashion statement than anything else, and the way it's designed and targeted makes this phone really feel like it's a phone for people who just care about looks, who don't actually care about practicality. I mean, you look at this thing and you can see how refined and how premium this phone feels and looks with this glossy rails, the fancy materials, and you can even say it looks more premium than the iPhone Pro models. But the practicality doesn't really add up. I've been using Android phones as my daily day-to-day phones because I think they provide better value and specs for the money, and even some better innovations than what iPhones have been coming out with. In other words, I think the Androids are just a bit more practical, providing better cameras and better features for a cheaper price. And overall, when it comes to the thin form factor, I really don't think these phones will really appeal to the mass market. I mean, they're really there for one purpose and one purpose only, to make your phone look cool. But I still think that the iPhone Air is a special phone. I think it might be the precursor to the iPhone Fold. But for my first impressions, incredible design, amazing innovation, but not really worth your money. Anyways, make sure you subscribe and stick around for the day in the live review, which will be coming out very soon. I'll upwards, and I'll see you guys in the next video.